Fantasy Blind Spot, where we shine the light on what you can't see. He's a cornerstone piece. He's a guy you're going to want on your fantasy team.
It's all about them splash plays.
Oh my God, did that just happen? I can't believe he made that catch.
He's got that big play ability.
The football gods made this guy to play football.
All right, so he's just an explosive runner. He's one of those guys that when he gets in the open space, he just puts his foot in the ground and he's gone.
Can't see. I am the Blind Guy. You can find me on X at the Blind Guy FF. With me, as always, is my co-host, the crazy Canadian Shawn Thompson. You can find him on X at Maximus8911. Thanks everybody for listening. Remember, hit that like, hit that subscribe. How you doing, bud?
Doing all right. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. It was a little crazy last night. Had a little issue, but we're good now. So hopefully we get some good weather, because I don't know about you guys, but we've had storms like a week straight now. So that's fun.
Oh, yeah, we got that. I think all next week's supposed to rain here too.
Gotta love it.
It's been a pretty wet summer.
Yes, very. Which is weird because we got, like, our weather's been similar, but we had that 1 month in April where it was nice, and then May was like gross and chilly, and then June was wet, July was warm and nice, and we're back to wet again. So
yep, it's been a
say
crazy
about the
year.
weather.
It hasn't been a great summer, that's for sure. Summer
Yeah.
2026. It's been a weird year all overall on every
Very.
aspect that you look at it.
Yep.
But anyways, we've got some preseason games we can talk about here. Just
Mhm.
kind of go the order I have them. I don't know the order that they're
Yeah, that
played,
works.
but so the first one we got up here is Carolina versus the Buffalo Bills. The Bills won 29-14. Was there anything that you were liking in here?
This was from everything I was reading. I didn't get to watch a ton about it, but it sounds like it was just all Buffalo start to finish. Like, Carolina didn't really have a chance. Even the starters, just suffocation from the beginning for Buffalo.
Yeah, well, even for the Bills, guy from the UFL that we talked about in our UFL segments has gone over and signed with the Bills. I don't know if he'll make the team, but he had a great game. Ian Wheeler, who I think he was the
Yeah, he was a running back.
Yep, and he was the MVP for the United Bowl, if I'm right.
I believe so, because he had a phenomenal playoff run, and I think we talked about that might have been what catapulted him into a job for Buffalo.
Yeah,
At
and
least
he did
a tryout.
very well. He got like 83 yards, something like that, and a touchdown. And then Frank Gore Jr. played awesome as well for the Bills.
Which is another one that we like coming out, and he just couldn't get off the practice squad. So,
And that's what I see happening, right? Because you still have Tyler Johnson there, and you still have Ray Davis there. It's like
yeah,
last year they kept 3, and then they had Frank Gore on the practice squad. I think Ian Wheeler's
Yeah.
going to the practice squad, but are they going to keep 3 and let Ty Johnson go finally, or are they going to keep 4 and keep 1 on the practice squad?
well, that's the weird part, is they really seem to love Ty Johnson. I don't know if it's his pass blocking that he offers. He's always kind of had that third fiddle, only third down, like obvious passing down situations. He seems to won't be the one that goes in there. I would like to see them do that a little more with James Cook, maybe get him more in the passing game instead of just between the tackles. But Buffalo seems to be a team that really emphasizes the running back position, because this is a conversation we have year after year of, well, how many of these guys are they going to keep? You know?
Be interested in. Don't forget, we got Joe Brady's first-time head coach, so those last decisions were made by McDermott. So that's going to be why it's going to be interesting to watch.
This will be year 2 of him, right?
Oh, okay. I thought this
So-
was his first year, wasn't it?
No, he was there last year.
All right.
So it'll be the first year, I think, that we'll have continuation of his own offense as the head coach. Because I don't think they had any coaching changes, if I remember right.
Maybe not.
Even their coordinator stayed the same, I think.
Yeah, I think so. The next game we got here is the Chicago Bears and the Cleveland Browns, and the Browns will be Browns as they lost 34-10. Anything you liked in this game?
So this one, I actually got to watch most of it. Surprisingly, Deshaun Watson actually looked serviceable. Granted, it was 11-15.
Did he really though?
Well, so that's what I'm. Let me finish here. So a lot of it was very short, dink and dunk. A lot of run after the catch. I forget who gave the stat, so I apologize, but it was something like 80% of his yards came after the catch, which means you're just dumping it to running backs and tight ends and letting them make a play after, which is fine. Like, you can have an offense like that, but it's not going to get you very far in this league. And to add to it, every quarterback that played for the Browns, so that's between Gabriel, Sanders, and Watson, they each had a turnover. So still early, still lots of flaws, but it seems like at the very start, at least, the Browns are going to try to make plays on offense. It's not going to be like Stefanski's where, okay, just drop back and here's this. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, there wasn't really much there. Quinshon Judkins really struggled. I think he had 6 carries for 8 yards. Like,
I don't even think he played.
No, he did.
Did he?
He touched the ball,
okay.
but he didn't do very well. Casey Concepcion, basically why I'm saying he's going to be the top rookie to own, because he is going to be doing a lot of those dinks and dunks. And like Deshaun Watson, it was like that Pittsburgh era all over again where Juju didn't run a route past 3 yards. That's all they're doing with Deshaun Watson. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, you're not even – this is preseason. Who gives a shit if they turn it over? Let's see him if he can still throw it down the field. Dinks and dunks are easy to do. Why are we doing this in a preseason game?
Right. And I wonder, too, how much of it was just let him get his feet wet and get out there and play a little bit. He did throw 15 passes, which I thought was interesting. And I'm more interested in watching what happens next game with Shedeur getting the start and those initial, like they do in the season that we talked about where, scripting plays.
Yeah.
Where you know what's happening. Let's see if that works a little better. One thing I did like to see, though, is they were moving Casey Concepcion all over the formation. It wasn't just, okay, you're just our slot guy. It was, we're going to let you play outside. We're going to let you play inside. And the outside guys seem to be
what I expect for him.
Yeah, exactly. And the outside guys seem to be, for the most part, Boston and Judy, which is also kind of what we expected.
Yep. All right, we'll move on to the next game we got here on tab is the Dallas Cowboys versus the Seahawks, and the Cowboys won 17-7 over the Super Bowl champs.
This one I didn't get to see anything about. Did you see any of this one?
Really, the only thing that really jumped out at me in this game, because Seattle sat all their starters, so there's really nothing to judge too much there. Right. But the Cowboys also sat a lot of their starters, but Joe Milton, man, he looked good.
Yeah, and Dallas is one of those teams that they've been screwed by not having a usable backup. So if they found a guy in Joe Milton, I think they traded for him last year, didn't they?
Yeah, off the Patriots once they started using Drake May. But, man, you kind of think, maybe the Patriots screwed up because he's kind of got the same sort of game style as May. He's obviously not as good as May, but same sort of style, right, where he can run if he has to and truck people over and all that sort of stuff. But
big arm.
Other than Joe Milton, nothing really jumped out to me from this game. So we'll move on to the next. We got the Broncos versus the Falcons. And for this one, the Broncos won 27-7. And oh my God, did Tua look like garbage? It makes me think that Penix has a chance for that 1 week he can play in the preseason.
I was just gonna say, I think so far the story of this game has just been Tua. Even listening to other fantasy content and media, it's all talking about Tua did not look good.
No,
and
what was it? He was 5 for 13.
Yeah, and if you want to spin it positively, I think you said 5 for 13. I think something like 6 of those 13 targets went to Kyle Pitts. So, oh boy,
yep, not good.
Is Pitts going to get those Achane dump offs?
I just thought of this. Kevin Stefanski had nothing but quarterback problems on people that we thought could have been quarterback problems for the Browns as a head coach. Yeah. Now he's gone to the Falcons, and he's right back into the
still got quarterback problems, right? Yeah. Well, and that's the interesting part that I still find, if you want to find a silver lining in this, Tua is still probably better than any quarterback Stefanski's had since his time in Cleveland, right? So
I don't know. I think Baker was better. Like I said, if they would have that year that they gave up on Baker with his shoulder injury, they asked him to play through that shoulder injury, and he did, and then they end up shooting him in the foot because of it. Well, had he had come back and did what he did instead of doing that Carolina stuff and going to the Rams with a day, I think he would have friggin' shined that year.
Well, see, that's where I question, did they ask him to play, or is that one of those situations where you're not taking Baker off the field? Because we just saw him struggle a whole lot this past season in Tampa Bay, halfway through the season, and it was the same thing, injuries. I think Baker's one of those guys that if he thinks he can play, regardless of how good or injured he is, he's going to be out there. And with a guy like that, sometimes you need that team that's strong enough to step in and go, dude, you're hurting the team. I know you want to play. We love it, but we need you right. And when you're not right, you're hurting the team. You know what I mean?
But I want those guys on my team. I don't.
I agree.
Handsy fucking motherfuckers that take their Anthony Richardson. I'm tired.
I'm just going to say, I'm tired. I need to come out
for a play. I ran 5 yards. Come on.
Yeah. Right.
All right, we'll
I
move
agree.
on to the next game here. We got the Jaguars versus the Saints, and for this one, the Jaguars won 24-20. Anything stand out to you?
So again, this is another one I just kind of get to see the recap, but it seems like it was a back and forth fun game. Both teams had their moments. Unfortunate for the Saints because I think Jordan Tyson left this game and
Yep,
is
he did.
now expected to be in question for week 1, which is also not good. So
No, he's out now for sure for week 1. He's out for
Yeah.
2 months. 2 months before
okay,
he can
yeah.
even practice.
Not good. Not good.
Nope.
Especially taking a guy top 10.
But a guy out there for the fantasy community that you're going to want to get from the Saints is Baron Brown or Brown and Baron or whatever the hell his name is there.
Yeah.
He's basically the Shaheed replacement. And who was it there? I think it was Chris Olave said it's the same person. Like it's basically Rashid Shaheed. So Rashid Shaheed did well in this offense. I see no reason why Baron can't. And then on the Jaguars side, Taylor, the running back, he got fed a lot, man. Like almost 20 carries, had close to 100 yards and a touchdown.
Tootin?
No, Taylor.
Who? Taylor?
The rookie?
Oh, yeah, the undrafted guy.
Yeah, like he got fed.
Okay. Jamari Taylor, that's it.
That's it.
I kept wanting to say Jonathan Taylor. I'm like, that's not right.
Nope. But yeah, he got fed. So he might be a guy you want to go out and get it. Well, he's still cheap. I don't know how much of a game plan he'll be, but he's definitely going to be someone they're going to use if one of the top 2 guys get hurt.
Well, and that's one of the things with this backfield, right? Off the bat, we're not sure who it's going to be. We all kind of have a pick your poison, right? Like, who do you think it's going to be? But you really never know. And Jacksonville's also one of the teams that found James Robinson as an undrafted guy that had a phenomenal rookie season. So,
yeah, I don't think it's hard to find backs. You just got to find the guy for your system.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to the next game here. We had the Rams versus the Chiefs, and the Rams won 20-12. Ty Simpson was amazing in this game, man. Amazing.
Well, you said the score 20-12. It actually was a closer game even than that. The Rams came back to score the last 2 touchdowns, I think it was, to win this game because of Ty Simpson.
Yep,
so
for sure they did. So
obviously early, but man, that's something you like to see.
And then on the KC side of the ball, Emmett Johnson did fairly well. With the rookie that they just drafted, and Jake Bringstall, who was one of my sleeper picks last year for this year at the tight end position, he got quite a bit of work too.
Yeah, you know, with this show too, I think that we're going to end up finding that sometimes we're a year too early on guys, and this might be one of those situations.
Well, he got put on the IR last preseason, so he didn't even have a chance last year.
Yeah, so you just stash him, but either way we talk about it, there's always going to be somebody after Kelsey, right?
Yep. There's got to be. And at 37 years old, how much longer has he really got? Because he doesn't keep as good a shape as Tony Gonzalez did, right? Like Tony worked at his freaking craft and worked on his body every day. Kelsey's too busy doing stuff. We'll go on to the next game. We got the Miami Dolphins versus the Washington Commanders, and Washington won 20-7. Anything you want to point out in this game?
If I remember right, reading about this one, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt looked good for the touches he had. But this is another one I didn't get to see a whole lot of, and I'm not sure how much we're going to be able to take away from it. However, Caleb Douglas, your receiver there, you got on every single one of your teams, made himself a nice one-handed grab, making some names and headlines.
Gotta like it. I actually like for Washington, sure, Ja'Cory looked good when he was running, but Katron Allen, he was fed, man, and looked better. So did, what's his name there? Harvey? I forget his first name. Henry.
Oh, Robert Henry.
Yeah, Robert Henry. He looked good. So, like, I don't think it matters who they're going to have back there. They're just going to be able to run the ball.
Well, and when you got a quarterback like Jaden Daniels that is also a threat to run, you start to open up those lanes a little more for guys because they're watching the quarterback. So I'll be curious to see how this offense looks. We're obviously not going to see a lot of it in preseason with the new offensive coordinator in Washington and David Blau. But this is a team that I'm excited to see. Like, how different does his offense look now that we're not having Cliff Kingsbury, who seems to be it works for a year, but once teams have film, it becomes very boring, very stale, and predictable.
Yeah, I still don't know why he's a fucking thing, man, in the NFL. He got the head coaching job with a losing record in college, for Christ's sakes. Got a losing record in the NFL. I think he only had one winning season in 5 years, something like that.
And it was his first year in Arizona, right?
Yeah. So he was like off the back of somebody else, and then he just continued to sink the team. But teams still view him, like franchises, as one of the top offensive minds in football, and I don't get it.
Well, it's funny. I actually heard on one of my podcasts the other day, I believe it was the Fantasy Footballers, they had said something along the lines of like, failed offensive coordinator is the best job you can have in the NFL because you're going to keep getting job offers even if you fail at it.
Yep.
They're right.
Crazy.
It just
It didn't
doesn't
work
make
there
sense.
because they didn't have the players, right? There's always an excuse.
Right. Yeah.
The next game we got, Minnesota Vikings won 13-10 over the Giants. Anything you liked in here?
I didn't like that Jackson Dart left the game to be evaluated for a concussion, but that's something that's going to happen all year. I did like, though, that when he came back, he tossed a dime to the back of the end zone to Malachi Fields for a touchdown. That could be fun.
And that's who I was going to point out. Was Malachi Fields is looking like he's going to have a role in that offense, which if you got him and Malik Nabers on the other side, that's a good-looking offense for Dart to work with. As for Minnesota, Carson Wentz played well, man. Like, do you think he's going to push J.J. McCarthy for that QB2 role there?
I think he has to, especially from what you saw from him last season when he came in. Like, he was serviceable. He made that offense at least move.
I still think the Vikings end with Carson Wentz as their starting quarterback come the end of the season.
I mean, it's possible. If that happens, then that means it's probably a bad season for Minnesota, right?
Yes, and that's what I'm thinking too. So,
and then Kyler and Kevin are probably both done if that's what happens.
And J.J. McCarthy as well.
Oh, for sure. But that if he doesn't win the job this year, I think that he's probably already there. And he's got a long road in front of him.
Well, the next game we got here is the Philadelphia Eagles lost to the Baltimore Ravens 24-7. In this, I thought the Ravens, obviously, they always play to win these games for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But Andrew Randall, the running back they drafted, he looked well. Elijah Sherratt looked good, and so did Hibner, the tight end, the 3 rookies that they drafted. So it looks like they got a pretty good class again and did well.
Well, and you didn't even mention the story of the weekend, which was Jacoby Lane and the game he put together. And I think he just carried that momentum from the joint practices. I think they had a couple joint practices this week. But the story coming out of Ravens camp has been Jacoby Lane nonstop. And Lamar talking about how he's always where he needs to be. And he seems to have passed Sherratt. So I tell you, man, Baltimore might be a passing team.
Sherratt, he might have passed Bateman.
Which is, a whole nother thing, because Bateman's a guy that they keep paying, right?
Yeah, which he's getting $12 million a year. What the hell are you doing paying Bateman that much? It just blows my mind. Like these, as far as I'm concerned, Zay Flowers to me, you can keep him, but he's more of a slot guy, but they use him as a wide receiver one. Get Jacoby Lane out there and get friggin' Sherratt out there on the outside with Flowers in the middle that you can move around and put then you bring in Sherratt, or not Sherratt, then you can bring in Bateman to go in the slot when you move Zay Flowers to the outside. Like that's more of what I would do if I was the Ravens, but.
Well, and that's one of the things that I think could be so interesting about this Declan Doyle offense is he's coming from that Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell tree where they're all about that activity. And
all right, we'll move on to the next game we got here is between Tampa Bay and the Jets. Oh, no worries. And then Tampa Bay won 24-16. And this one here was all about Ruben Bain Jr. and David Bailey was in the practices going up to the game. They were just dominating that, which was causing the fights. And they continued to dominate in the game. But as for the actual game, not too much jumped out other than those two guys to me.
Yeah, and these are two teams that, for the Bucs, I think the story of this offseason is going to be like how healthy is Baker, and did the defense get healthy again? Because they've been struggling with injuries lately. And with the Jets, new team, young team, trying to get to the point with Aaron Glenn to keep your job, you might start seeing some desperation as the season goes on.
Oh, you will, because it's Woody Johnson, man. He fucking listens to those teenage kids on what he has to do with that football team.
Man, just crazy.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get in, talk some ball.
Yes, sir.
Time for the Grape Light, where we discuss what's happening around the league.
All right, welcome to the Grape Light. We're going to give you all the latest news that has come out of the NFL. And to start with, we're going to talk about the Seahawks extending cornerback. What's his name? Witherspoon?
Yeah, Devin Witherspoon.
Yep, that 4 years, $132 million, 101 of which is fully guaranteed.
Hooey.
Yep, he
got some money
paid.
That's a lot like that Zay Flowers contract we just talked about, right? I think his was 140 with 90 something guaranteed.
Yep, something like that. But it's
crazy.
harder to get a shutdown corner like this. So smart of the Seahawks to pay this position. It was one of the few that Belichick always paid.
Yep. Christian Gonzalez.
Yep. Moving on, we got the Arizona Cardinals. Jeremiah Love. I don't like seeing this, man. Got a high ankle sprain, which those things linger all season. That's what killed Barkley's last year because he had a high ankle sprain early on, and he was never really able to get to the Barkley that we knew. So hopefully they just sit him for the rest of this preseason like they're talking about. He can, because he's young enough, come back healthy, and it'll be all good. But it's a little worrisome for seasonal.
So I think they've already come out and said he won't play again this preseason, and week 1 is in question. And realistically, a young guy like this, it's a 3 to 5 week injury, but then you have like the slow buildup once you do come back from it. So I think like week 3, week 4, at the latest, you probably start seeing the Jeremiah Love we expected. That being said, it might be a good time to buy a dip, or if somebody is worried about him, go try to get him. But early in his career, he's only 20 years old, right? So
yeah, he's young.
He'll
nothing major to
eventually
worry about.
All right.
It's just a seasonal thing.
Well, and even more interesting, this backfield. Like we talked about how they have too many, right? Because it was James Conner, Jeremiah Love, Tyler Algier that they signed. They drafted Trey Benson a couple of years ago. I believe they brought in another running back. Was it Michael Carter they kept from last season?
No, he's with the Titans.
Oh, that's right. He's with the Titans, and then DeMarcado went to Kansas City.
Yep, I think it's just
one more. Well, that being said, Algier might be a good way to get your season started. But either way you look at it, James Conner, they're talking about they're not sure he'll ever play football again with the injury he's dealing with. So who knows what's going on there?
Well, they've said that about James Conner before, so I'm not going to count him out.
I mean, dude beat leukemia. Probably not a whole lot going to keep him from playing football if he wants to.
Yeah, and we had for the second time this year, Aaron Donald went to Rams camp and worked out. He was listed on the participation list. It's starting to look like this might happen. And I don't think it's going to happen week 1, man. I think it happens week 8. Let's see how you guys start out. And if you're doing good, then I'll come and give you that little bump you need.
let him build up so that he doesn't have to go through the whole season kind of deal too. But the thing I found interesting too is I don't know if it's just media trying to build hype, but the media also seemed to spin it as like this was a tryout, not just a workout with the team kind of thing.
Oh, I don't think he has to try out whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm pretty sure if Aaron Donald says I'm coming back, the Rams are like, okay, hey, whoever the hell you are, Joe Blow, that you're done. That's freaking Donald's. Like I don't even care if you're Puka. You're out of that freaking locker.
Right.
That was what Aaron Donald's locker when he left, and that's going to be his locker when he comes back.
Right. Yep. I mean, shoot, him retiring was enough to almost make McVay retire too.
Yep. And then we got the Cowboys are signing Von Miller to a 1-year deal to help with their pass rush. Not a bad little signing.
Yeah, and no dollar amount assigned to it that I saw anyway. But either way you look at it, he can also be that player coach for your young edges, like Malachi Lawrence. Like, get in his pocket, figure out what Von Miller did.
For sure. And then we got, what's this one here? Oh, Keenan Allen signed with the Colts for a 1-year deal last night.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. I'm guessing that has something to do with the Alec Pierce foot injury, with him still not practicing, and I think Josh Downs just had another injury.
Well, the horrible wide receiver room. Like, talk about trying to let Daniel Jones freaking hang himself out there.
Yep. I was kind of surprised that it wasn't LA, though. Like, this has to make the fantasy managers for Chargers receivers feel better, right? Because I think
the Trey Harris owners, anyways, because now he's going to get an actual shot. And I've seen somebody out there in the fantasy community saying that Trey Harris should be going in the first round.
Well, that's spicy.
Yep. And then Terrence posted one the other day from that fantasy network about someone saying Colson Loveland won't even finish as a tight end 1 this year in fantasy. Like, he won't even be inside the top 10. Have you looked at tight end numbers? It is so easy to get inside the top 10.
That's like, what, 4 touchdowns?
Yeah. So just some crazy
it's hot take season, man.
Right now, right? Like, it's click season.
Yep, hot take season, that's for sure.
And then something we've already talked about, Jordan Tyson out 2 months with the injury that he sustained in his preseason game.
Yeah, not good. So that's 2 top 10 offensive draft guys that are starting their season at least on a delay, even if they played. Well, Love, even if he played week 1, but Tyson's not playing week 1. So, and I believe we didn't necessarily get into it, but Mekhi Lemon in Philadelphia camp has also been battling a hamstring, so I don't think he's practicing again for another week.
Wow, that doesn't surprise me. Didn't he have that issue in college too?
Not that I remember. I know Tyson did, but Lemon I think was fairly healthy.
We also got for the Vikings, Jamal Adams was carted off the field, and he's out now for the season with a knee injury.
Yeah, and even the coach talking after it happened was talking about, man, I feel for the guy. Like, he's worked his butt off to get where he is, and like they were talking like being dramatic here, but talking like he was dead.
Well, it pretty much is. If you're gone for the season, you're no longer in the plan. You're dead to the team, anyways.
Just crazy, but unfortunate because Jamal Adams is a guy that I always liked watching. Like, he wasn't as good in the pass game, but man, that dude could lay the hammer down on some running backs and receivers for that matter.
Good before the injuries. We also got the Steelers extended Keanu Benton 4 years, $72 million, making him the highest paid defensive tackle for the Steelers of all time.
Yeah, and that title that you just said, highest paid defensive tackle of the Steelers all time, that's just going to come for whoever gets the money latest. But I didn't realize it was that much money for a defensive tackle position, but I do like him. And he was good for us down the stretch.
Defensive tackles that get paid, though, so.
Yeah. So if they're choosing to pay him, like they're obviously saying he's important, and he has been, not just stopping the run for us, but also getting some pressure sometimes in there. He's that guy that can just clog the middle, and you need those guys.
And then we got for the Bears, Monangai is out for weeks with a knee injury.
Yeah, and
Shawn Johnson has a chance.
Right? Which is crazy because we thought he had a chance last year, and he never really materialized. But with the injury to Monangai, it certainly opens the door. Maybe a slight boost to Swift, except I feel like Swift's role is kind of just locked in, regardless of who's sharing the backfield with him.
Oh, I do too. And then we've got James Pierce suspended for 8 games to start the season. So
yeah, and that was for the off the field stuff that we talked about.
Yep.
Yeah, I wish that they would start getting these suspensions figured out because there's just so many guys lingering, right? Like, we're told Puka still may face one. Rice is already cleared, which makes no sense.
Yeah, they do the weird shit all the time. They needed a steadfast, this is it. Like, they put it in the contract, your first time suspension is supposed to be 2 games, unless it's like grievous or whatever, which I believe James Pierce probably hit that pretty easily.
And then, and Josh Jacobs is still lingering. Like, we don't know what's going on with that. It just, I think usually they try to get this worked out by like 3rd week of preseason, if I remember right. So hopefully soon.
Well, they need to do it a lot faster all around.
I agree.
And then we got Troy Aikman, because he's now an advisor for the Dolphins.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's getting Brady-like treatment for Monday Night Football, so now he can't go to team meetings beforehand and all that sort of stuff.
Well, Aikman's so talented at this. Hopefully that doesn't affect him, but I guess we'll see, because you can tell I think it affects Brady because he was different even in the postseason when they did let him in, right?
Well, the difference is going to be too. Brady's trying to learn how to navigate that. We're never having done the job before. Aikman's done this for 10 plus years. So if he doesn't get that, he can at least know what questions to give Joe Buck to ask.
Right. And that's what I mean. Like, hopefully, because he's been doing this and he's talented enough at it, it doesn't affect him the way that it did Brady, where Brady was learning the job still too.
Yep, I agree. But that's what we got for the news. Now you got the grapes. Go make the wine. Next 5. Who would you rather have over the next 5 years in the NFL? All right, welcome to Next 5. And today I'm going to give Alex 5 names, and he's going to say if he was a GM of a team, who he would rather over the next 5 years. So let's get this called up here. So we're going to the tight end position here.
Okay.
And for fantasy aspects, you've missed out on the top guys. So you kind of let things slide. So there's no top go-get tight end.
Yeah.
We are all over the board with ages here. The youngest being 23, the oldest being 37.
Oh, yeah. All right. So is that oldest Kelsey?
Yeah. So obviously we got Travis Kelce on there. He's 37 years old. He's got 1 year left on his contract. He's only due $4.9 million. And then you'll either have to decide whether you want to bring him back or not after that year.
Right.
We've got Dalton Kincaid of the Buffalo Bills, 27 years old. He's got 2 years left on his contract, $4 million due this year, $8 million due the next, and then you're going to have to pay him.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Isaiah Likely, 26 years old, just brought over from
And
Baltimore.
just got paid.
Yep. $6 million due this year, 17 next year, 16 the year after that.
Right.
Next, we got from the Chargers, Olamide Gatson.
Yeah, Gadsden.
Yep, 23 years old on a rookie contract, do $1 million, $1.2 million, 1.3, and then you're going to have to sign him in 29. And lastly, we've got Brent Strange from the Jacksonville Jaguars at 26, who also just got paid. He's due 3.3 and 26, then 6, then 11, then 13 million.
That's actually a really affordable contract for a player that I think is undervalued at the tight end position.
Too. Big time.
Yeah. That being said, with Isaiah Likely, I don't want to pay that 16 and 17 million for a player that we really haven't seen do it for more than a couple of games at a time. Kelsey, I don't think he's going to be playing in 5 years, and if he is, then okay. I mean,
what are we seeing?
Cool. Yeah, exactly. So I think I'm actually going to lean Olamide Gatson here. I like the rookie contract. You know what you're getting the next 3 years. I like what he showed as a rookie, and with bringing Mike McDaniel in, I don't know how long he's going to be there, but being able to download whatever he can from McDaniel, and with Njoku playing in front of him right now, I think that's someone else he can learn from who put together a pretty good season in Cleveland a couple years ago. So I like what Gatson brings to the table with his athleticism. He's already shown that he can learn as a blocker and do things as a blocker too. I think he can develop to be one of the better tight ends over the next 5 years in this list. So give me Olamide Gatson.
Nice. I'd probably end up with Brent Strange myself, just because I do think he's undervalued and not even utilized the way that he should be utilized. Like if he was on a coach that used the tight end position more, like Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, even with the LaFleurs would be a good example. Like I think Brent Strange is now one of the top 5 tight ends to own in fantasy, but because Cohen doesn't really use the tight end position much.
Well, and can you blame him with the talent he has on the outside too?
I can blame him, man, because like when you think about it, who's the one player on the field that you need to watch to make sure he's not blocking first off? That's going to change your pass rush coming to you. It's the tight end, right? Because you can do that check block where you fake out the block and then you slip off. If you got the right friggin' guy to design those types of plays, they give you the biggest chunks that you can go. Like that's why Kyle Shanahan and McVay's system are considered quarterback friendly, because of that tight end position and how it's used in these games. So,
I mean, what you just described is how Tucker Kraft was such a valuable tight end last year.
Yep,
that's what he was doing with Jordan Love, just leaking out, leak out.
Yep, it just works, man. It just works. It's too hard to friggin' do because you got the guy that's in coverage that's supposed to cover the friggin' tight end. It's never the same person either. So if he starts friggin' blocking one of the guys on the edges, that guy goes and drops to his second role that he's supposed to do in that play, which therefore leaves this huge open gap in an area, and you just go bloop. And then you get 20, 30 yards. Like that's what George Kittle does all the time. That's why he's awesome. But that's who Alex would take for next 5 between these 5 people, Olamide Gatson.
All-time matchups. We take an NFL team and we give that team's all-time lineup of anybody who's ever played for that team. Which team will win?
All right, welcome to All-Time Lineup. Last episode we did the Browns, and it was like pulling teeth to piece together that lineup. So thought we'd do things a little easier, go to more of a powerhouse team. We're going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys and their all-time lineup, and they got plentiful at every position. So let's see what
lots of Hall of Famers.
Yep. And you came out swinging with Troy Aikman as your quarterback. I'm going Roger Staubach, and there ain't no way you're going to change my mind. I think Troy Aikman was one of the best in his era to friggin' do it. But when Roger Staubach, man, what I've learned from him and going back and looking at his game tape is even to this day, man, we are talking how many years after he's done football? 50? At least somewhere around 50.
Something like that, yeah.
Players, there's been 12 players that have called him from his team in the 70s about to commit suicide that he talked out of. That leadership
That's
at
crazy.
that position in all of sports and the talent that he had, I think was not as good as Troy Aikman, but close enough. But the leadership quality is what I want with these Cowboys. Because let's face it, you want a solid leader with these Cowboys. Otherwise, you get into the White House stuff all over again.
No, and I had initially put Staubach. For me, it was just Aikman's the one I actually got to watch. And like when I was little, I was running around in a little blue number 8 Troy Aikman jersey.
Oh yeah, like I would put him like him, Young, and Favre. Those were the best 3 in their era, right? And then you go into the Breeze, Manning, Brady era.
Brady, yeah.
And before that, you had like Montana, Marino, and Kelly.
Joe Montana.
No way. Yep. So that's who I would go with is Roger Staubach. Then we go to the running back position. You've got Emmitt Smith. I just hate Emmitt Smith.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you go Tony Dorsett just because you hate Emmitt Smith?
I just more or less wrote his name down, Tony Dorsett, and DeMarco Murray. Just for debate purposes. Because DeMarco Murray, he wasn't with the Cowboys long enough, but he's got the single season record for a running back for the Cowboys because he just had a phenomenal season with them. And then he went to Philadelphia, and he continued to be well there for a couple more years before falling off. But I don't know how you don't go Emmitt Smith.
That's where I'm at. So I'm glad you brought up DeMarco Murray because that season was crazy and fun to watch. It got him paid in Philly, and I think, like you said, he fizzled out after 2 years. I think they signed him to like a 4-year deal, which is one of those things with running backs. It's tough to switch teams. Like if your team's willing to let you walk, it's kind of a red flag.
Yep. But that year that DeMarco Murray went off for the Cowboys was also the year that Darren McFadden for the Vegas Raiders or Oakland Raiders at the time went off as well and had his one great year. I drafted those 2 running backs late in friggin' fantasy, like a dynasty startup.
Because that would have been like
I won that
0 RB. Oh, I bet.
Yep.
That's crazy year to have.
And they were like the one was like the 14th round pick, and I think that was Murray. And then I got McFadden in the 28th round or something like that.
Because he was young. I think that was his first or second year in the league.
I think it was his 3rd because he had 2 shitty years, and like he was a real early draft pick too, but just never panned out.
Yeah, because he was Arkansas in college, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And I think Murray was Oklahoma.
Yeah,
they were both like the same color. I used to get them confused.
All right, we'll move on to the wide receiver position. And I was surprised you didn't have CeeDee Lamb. You went Michael Irvin, Drew Pearson, and Bob Haynes.
Bob Hayes for the speed aspect of it, and Pearson I feel like is just one of those guys. And then there's no way I was leaving Michael Irvin off. But CeeDee Lamb was easily one that I figured we could bring up to discuss putting him in there for his versatility.
Well, Drew Pearson's also a speed guy.
Okay.
That was his whole thing, right? Like he was the wide receiver with Roger Staubach that invented the Hail Mary. So
he was more complete too, though, wasn't he? He wasn't just the speed guy, take the top off the defense.
I just remember him as a speed guy.
Okay, maybe
like
I'm missing
purely based speed. Like nobody could keep up with them. That's why they developed that fucking Hail Mary, right? So as far as you get. My wide receiver room for these guys ended up a lot different than you.
And that's fair.
So I got Michael Irvin on an outside. I've got Des Bryant on the other side.
He's another one I thought about. I just wasn't sure. So I figured we'd see where we go.
And then I've got CeeDee Lamb for my slot guy.
See,
now,
and
CeeDee Lamb's got to be my speed guy, and he's not as fast as Dorsett or Haynes. But what he brings in the slot position, I think, exceeds that speed.
Well, and with those 3 guys, like you have enough speed between the 3 of them that you don't necessarily need that guy that's just going to go tear off the defense because all these guys, all they do is get open.
Yeah, and Des Bryant's one of the slowest wide receivers to ever. Like I think Des Bryant is the best slowest wide receiver out there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It was always is he fast enough, and it's like, well, it doesn't really matter if he's fast enough. He's still doing it.
4.69 40
yeah,
or
it was
something
crazy.
like that. Because I remember everyone like whatever his 40 time was, people were like, "Oh, he's too slow. He's not going to do it." And I'm like, "No, the guy just gets the ball. I don't think it matters how fast he is. Like, if you got the right moves to get open and create those windows on those cuts, like you're just going to get open."
Yeah, and some of these guys too, like I put names down because I know we're going to talk about it. So if we went Des Bryant, Michael Irvin, CeeDee Lamb, I'm totally fine with that because I have also watched all 3 of those guys play, and they're all great.
Well, I think we should probably go Michael Irvin, CeeDee Lamb on an outside, and then Dorsett as our middle guy to stretch the field.
You mean Pearson?
Pearson, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that. A little more complete receiver core, I guess.
Tight end, obviously, I went to Jason Witten, just like you. And then I was like, who else have the Cowboys really had? Because nobody jumps out like Jason Witten. Like, it just seems to be on a tier all himself. They had Mike Ditka his last 3 years in the NFL.
Really?
Yes. So then I'm like, okay, who do I want? Jason Witten or old-ass Mike Ditka?
Right. I didn't even know Ditka played for the Cowboys like that.
Yeah, neither did I. Like I said, it did something. I'm like, what other freaking tight ends did they have? Because I can think of Jake Ferguson. I can think of what was it, Novacek that they used in Nathan's day?
Yeah, he was the other one that came
back. But so I was like, what? Mike Ditka.
Right.
But I don't know how you go with Jason Witten because he's just Mr. Tight End for the Cowboys.
Yeah, and just had been there forever. Like, you always knew he was going to be there. On third down, man, they love to find him for those first downs.
He's just always there. Mr. Reliable is all I remember.
For sure.
Fantasy wise, he just did shit he shouldn't be doing. Right.
Yep.
All right, that brings us to the defensive side of the ball. We got defensive edge. You went Too Tall Jones and Charles Haley.
Yep, and this I think really depends on how we want to set up our defense because there's a name that could easily be outside linebacker / edge.
And that's where I got DeMarcus Ware as one of my edge guys too. So we we'll see where we end up putting him. And then I got, what was his name? Jim Jeffcoat as my second guy from the 60s.
Okay.
He was the guy in those late 60s, mid to mid 70s that just dominated the edge for those Cowboys.
He's one I always forget about. I remember the name. For some reason, I always forget about him when we're talking all time.
Yeah, and with that name, you think you'd never forget it, right?
Yeah, right. Right.
So let's go Too Tall Jones and Jeffcoat.
Yeah, that works for me.
All right. And then for linebacker, we both had Bobby Lilly, or defensive tackle, I mean. We both had. Yeah. And then you got Randy White.
Yes.
And I got Leon Lett.
I don't know how I forget Leon Lett.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
I'm like, he should be automatic in that spot.
Yeah, I agree.
Now we're at the linebacker position. So at linebacker, you got Chuck Hawley. Who's this? Leroy Jordan, and DeMarcus Ware, which we talked about.
Yeah, so
outside linebackers. But if Ware's not there on our defensive edges, he's sure as shit going to be there in our linebackers.
Right. That's what I figured. So it just depends on where you want to put him because he was one of those guys that kind of moved around. It was just he was going to wreak havoc on the quarterback position. So he's got to be there somewhere. It's just, do you want him on outside or do you want him at the edge?
Yeah, and then I think it's pretty easy for our next ones here too, because the only guy that I had different, because I had DeMarcus Ware in a defensive edge position, is Ken Norton Jr.
Okay.
When he finished his career with the Cowboys, but I also have Chuck Hawley and Leroy Jordan. So we'll go with your three linebackers there.
All right.
Which brings us to the cornerback position. No way we're not going Deion Sanders. Yeah.
Yep.
And then you've got Mel Renfrew.
Yep. Hall of Famer.
I've got
from his time.
Trayvon Diggs. Pre-injury.
That's fair because he was pre-injury, just total lockdown. Got himself paid and then got hurt. Hasn't been the same since.
No, I don't want the one after the injury. I want the guy before the injury. And if I got him paired up with Deion, where the hell are you going to throw the goddamn ball?
Right. And even on the other side of him, Deron Bland put together some pretty awesome seasons until he forgot how to cover.
Yep.
So
they just don't know how to get guys back to shape after injuries with the Cowboys. Brings us to the safety position. We've both got Darren Woodson, so obviously he's going to be in there. You've got Cliff Harris. I've got a guy that had to change the NFL rules for because I love these freaking guys like Night Train Lane. They had to do the face mask for Roy friggin' Williams, the horse collar guy.
Yeah, I always forget about him.
Man, there was nothing better than Roy Williams before that rule came into effect, and I imagine it was the same for Night Train Lane. He would just be cutting across the field, full friggin' tilt, and fly past you and just try to get some body part down into your shoulder pads. And then that just his body weight would take you with him. He was taking people out of games like crazy.
It's funny, like when I think Roy Williams, I don't think of the safety. I just remember all the receivers. It was like there was a good receiver, Roy Williams. There was a bad receiver, Roy Williams. I always forget about the safety, and I don't know why, because you know how much I love the safety position.
Well, I'll tell
I'm
you
good
why.
with that.
Because
Why
as
is
soon
that?
as they put the horse collar rule in, he
Gone.
could no longer play safety.
It was like, oh shit, I don't know how to tackle. I just know how to drag people down.
Yeah, so we'll go with your guy, Cliff Harris, just because with the new
Little
rule
more
changes,
complete
I don't
play.
think Roy Williams can continue on in this game.
Well, it
So
depends.
for
If we're taking Trayvon Diggs pre-injury, can't we take Roy Williams pre-horse collar rule?
Well, we're still doing an all-time lineup, right? Which means you can play at any time. Roy Williams can no
Yeah.
longer play at any time because of the rule changes.
Well,
That's
is
how I
true.
look at it, but
Huh.
it's just a fun debate. I want to bring up Roy Williams because he was fun to watch back in the day.
Oh, he was
man.
crazy.
There's at least 10 players I could think of that he put out for seasons. Like,
It was the horse collar, like at the time, for people that might not have been into football then, that tackle was like what the hip drop tackle is now, I think. Like it was everywhere all the time. And you're like, oh man, that looked like it hurt. And a lot of times it did.
oh yeah, but
A lot of times
nobody
it
did
did.
it. Like nobody did it until Roy Williams did it.
Right. And they're like, oh, you can make this a thing.
What? Because it was treated like your equipment under your jersey at the time was treated like your hair.
Yeah.
If it's
Like
long,
to say,
you can
like
use
if
your
you
hair
had,
to tackle you, right? So like,
yeah, that's part of why a lot of guys quit wearing chains because they were getting broken and stuff on the field.
yep, it's just dumb to wear your chains out there.
Oh,
Anyways.
for sure. For
So
sure.
here's what we ended up with for the Cowboys at quarterback. We got Roger Staubach leading the way, keep the boys in Dallas because they can get out of control. We're going with Emmett Smith at running back. Our wide receivers, we're going with Irvin and Lamb on the outsides with Dorsett in the middle, or not Dorsett. What do I keep calling him?
Pearson.
In the slot. Tight end, we're going Jason Witten, Mr. Dallas Cowboy. On the defensive side, we're going with Jim Jeffcoat, one of the weirdest names I've ever seen, and Chutal Jones.
Mhm.
Defensive tackle, Bob Lilly and Leon Lett. Good luck running up the middle there because it's just not going to happen.
That's a lot of beef.
linebacker, we're going Chuck Hawley, Leroy Jordan, and DeMarcus Ware. So we've got a great pass rush that goes into the linebacker position.
Oh, yeah.
Defensive back, we're going Deion Sanders and Trayvon Diggs pre-injury. At the safety position, Darren Woodson and Cliff Harris. Looks like an unbeatable team.
It really does. That's a lot of Hall of Fame and maybe future Hall of Fame and good talent on there.
Yep. But that's how we saw our all-time lineup of the Dallas Cowboys.
Fantasy Light.
All right, welcome to Fantasy Light. We're going to end off what we're looking to do with the parts of the rounds. We're talking early round draft selections in your picks. We'll start out here with Alex's list. So for Alex in round one, picks 1 to I forgot the sayings up top. So that should be picks 1 to 4. He's looking Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, and Amon St. Brown.
Yeah, I think one name. Oh, Jamar Chase should be up there too. Puka is the one name I'm hesitant, especially with the fact that they're actively calling out he still might be suspended. To me, it seems unlikely, but I don't know why they put that out there unless there's actually a chance he gets suspended for the season. So don't love that.
And I just gave some advice to somebody before, and I drawn up a sheet and I wrote beside Puka, possible suspension. Because you're not going to win your fantasy leagues with these first 4 rounds, but you sure as shit can lose them.
Absolutely.
So you just want to avoid that sort of stuff. So I would just stay away from Puka myself. Round 2, you're looking Omar Hampton, George Pickens, or Brock Bowers.
Yeah, I try to keep these lists kind of small because especially picking 1 overall, there's so many ways that by the end of the second and early third that your entire draft can change if one guy falls.
Yep,
so to me, I like the value on Bowers. I think he's going to be the tight end 1 this season, whether it's Cousins or even Mendoza. I think that he ends up at that position, and I think there's a possibility that he ends up in that JSN role last year that Clint Kubiak had in Seattle. And if that happens, Brock Bowers to the moon. And it's going to be one of those situations where he outscores, kind of like Trey McBride was like wide receiver 3 or 5, I think it was, with that crazy season he had. I think Bowers could be that good too. At the tight end position, just total difference maker.
League champion makers.
Yes.
So
Yes.
round 3 on the turn, you got
Mhm.
A Chance, Chase Brown, or T Higgins.
Which is crazy to me that A-Chain's falling this low. Like, back of the second, early third, if he's there, I think it's a value, even if that offense does suck, because he is the offense, right? So the
Yeah,
only way
I
it
would
bites
hope.
you in the ass is injury. But if he hits, again, you're talking league winning, right?
Yep. Then round 4, you got Garrett Wilson, Travis Etienne, Jalen Waddle, and Brees Hall, who has what's he got? An ankle
Groin
sprain?
injury. Groin.
Groin, that's it.
Yep, and they said non-contact. That's never a good thing. It sounds like the coach isn't too worried about it yet. It's still early enough with all these guys too. Like, we'll see. Jeremiah Love used to be in my back of the second, early third, mid third. But with that ankle sprain, I think you're going to start a little slower, and I don't want to draft the guy that's already injured. So again, Brees Hall, we're talking. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Give me a week or two. If he's still battling with this groin injury in a week and a half, I might have to change that.
Yeah, I'd agree. All right, so we'll go to my selections, and again, I think I forgot to change the seeds up there at the top, so that should read seeds 1 to 4. We're doing early rounds. I went to rounds 8 and 9. I figured we're on the turn here, right? So I kind of did mine up a little different. So round 1, I've got the same 4 guys you do, like we talked about, leaving Puka off, because in those first 4 picks, I want the sure thing, and with Puka possible suspension, you're no longer a sure thing for a top 4 pick.
Right.
Going round 2s to 3, I'm coming probably away, because when I look at this and how it kind of all sets down, I'm coming away with a tight end and one of the top tight ends. So I got Bowers or Colson Loveland here. And then on the turn, I've got A.J. Brown for 3.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Then going into rounds 4 and 5, I'm going to want to get 2 of these guys, Emeka Egbuka, Tet, or Luther Burton.
Even with Burton's injury still?
Yeah, I think because he was early enough, I think he'll be all right. So I'm still on him.
Okay.
Round 6, 7, I'm looking DK, Marvin Harrison Jr., or DJ Moore.
Yeah, I like some of the values we were looking at in the 6th round.
When you get going down these early round picks, man, like you want Gibbs or Robinson, like, because the next time you're really the values there for running back is rounds 8 and 9, and that's where I got Trayvon Henderson of the Patriots, Rico Dowdle of the Steelers, and then Jackson Dart as my backup. If those guys were gone, selecting my quarterback around there.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't think Henderson's falling to the 8th though. Like, if you get him in the 8th, I would love that value, but I think he's more in like the back of the 4th, early 5th.
Oh, see, that's where when I looked at ADP, that's where they had Stevenson and they had Henderson down around here. I was like, how do you not take him down?
Yeah, that's weird, because the ADP I was looking at had that reversed where Stevenson was down there in the 8, 9. And if that's the case, I'll take Stevenson down there because I think people are sleeping on him.
Oh, yeah, big time. But that's mine and Alex's fantasy thoughts drafting from the early round. I think my big takeaway is you want to running back. Hope for one of those top 2 guys. Otherwise, you're going to have to think Jonathan Taylor, because they're not really there until after round 5 for you.
Yeah, I agree. When you start getting in rounds 6 through 9, like, I like a lot of the receiver values there. There's not as many running back values. So like you're saying, you want your running backs early.
For sure.
Fantasy IDP.
All right, welcome to Fantasy IDP, and today we are going to be talking about our top 10 rookies, any position, doesn't matter to own for IDP for 2026. So we got Alex's list up here. At number 1, he's got Sonny Styles of the Commanders. Yep. I don't see it any different way with our top 2. Okay. Our top 2s are the same, by the way.
There was a pause there. You said, I don't see it. I'm like, wait.
And then Caleb Downs we both have at number 2, and then we start getting different at 3, but not much different. What I've found in looking at these lists, we each only have one guy that's different, and that's the 10th guy. So it's like it seems like these 9 are cemented as the top 10 IDP guys, and your 10 can be anybody when I looked at it.
Yeah, and if you remember when we did this a couple of months ago, if you remember my list from that at all and compared it, it's a lot of the same names. I think, like you said, 9 of the 10 are the same. I think I have one new name, but the order is what's changed around based on the way to play IDP,
Information.
right? Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
So at 3, you got CJ Allen from the Colts.
Mhm.
4, Trotter from the Bucks. 5, Rodriguez from the Dolphins. 6 is Dylan Thieneman from the Bears. 7, you got David Bailey of the Jets. 8, you've got Arvell Reese from the Giants. 9, you got Reuben Bain Jr. of the Bucks. And at 10, you got Messidor of the Chargers.
Yep. So Messidor, I think in my last list used to be Malachi Lawrence with the Cowboys. It's not so much the Von Miller signing that lowers me on that, so much as I think Messidor is going to be a more impactful player earlier for the Chargers.
Yeah, and then you got your linebackers up pretty high because they're going to get linebackers get easy points like running backs, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You should get your automatic points no matter how talented you are. It's just how many points do you get based off your talent.
Exactly.
We'll go over to my list.
See how where's your order different?
So as mentioned, I got Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs is my 1-2. I started at 3 with David Bailey just because.
Okay, getting that pass rush.
Yeah, defensive edge guys are so hard to get. David Bailey has just been knocking it out of camps that I think he's the edge guy you're going to want to get, the top edge guy. So those 3 to me are your must-gets IDP. The first 3 I listed, Styles, Downs, and Bailey. The other ones are just good to have. So
real quick, in rookie drafts, how early are you looking at targeting those guys for anyone that hasn't had an IDP rookie draft yet? Like, you looking in the second, or is that too early?
Well, let me put it to you this way. Sonny Styles, I was hoping to draft 14th overall in our Reality Sports Online 32-team league.
Yeah.
So
it's a little different with a 32 team.
Well, I know, but like the 14th overall is still pretty high for a linebacker guy, right? Like, so if I'm going to I'm assuming just rookies, right? Or are you talking?
Yeah, just rookies. Yeah, just rookie drafts.
I'd probably take Sonny Styles, man. I am thinking of doing it at 8th.
Oh, okay. So
like in the first round. I would be fine taking all those guys at 8, just with how that cliff comes, right around 8, when you got to pick between Shaik, Omar Cooper, Jadarius Price, like those
Denzel
guys.
Boston.
They all have questions, right? Where Sonny Styles, I'm like, you're going to be a guy I could just select and put you in there for 10 to 15 years and never have to worry about you again. Same with Caleb Downs. So I'd be fine in the first round. Bailey, I'd be probably around pick 10.
That's fair. I know in mine, I took, I think I had 3 picks in the middle of the second. So I think it was like 2-4 and 2-6. I took Styles and Downs with those 2 picks. So I went early second. Yeah.
That's highway robbery, because the second round, there's you should be going all friggin' defensive players in this draft.
Well, in that league too, IDP is I don't want to say it's nerfed. It's very clearly they don't score as many as your offensive guys.
Yeah, it's just light.
Yeah.
So at 4, I go CJ Allen from the Colts. 5, I go Reuben Baines Jr. from the Bucks. 6, I got Rodriguez from the Dolphins. There's those linebackers again. They just put up points, right?
Right.
7, I got Thieneman from the Bears. 8, I got Arvell Reese from the Giants. He's just not a must-get for me, even though he went that high, because there's so many there. He's just going to be a rotational piece. There's a lot of guys, keep them fresh. And then I got Trotter at 9, which brings us to our 9 guys that are the same. And at 10, because I think they're going to be playing a lot of defense, I got Emmanuel McNeil Warren of the Browns.
And that's an interesting call, and I could see that, because he was the next safety I had on our DB list. And with him, the thing I liked about him coming out was that he was that ball hawk. He forced turnovers, whether it be fumbles or interceptions. And you are right, they're going to be on the defensive side of the ball a lot. Well, that creates a lot of opportunity for him, so I could see it.
Yep.
I like that one.
The only downfall would be is that they get so far behind that teams won't need to throw on them. So, but he can get in the box and get sacks too. So,
right, and like you were saying too, he also forced fumbles, so he may get him that way.
Yep. But that's our fantasy IDP top 10 rookies to own heading into 2026.
Prediction time. What do we see? How do we see it? Do we see the future or do we not?
All right, welcome to our our NFL prediction time, and today we are talking NFC East teams.
Mhm.
So we'll call up Alex's prediction list here. And for Alex, he's got the Cowboys finishing first overall in the division. Jerry Jones' work in the offseason the last couple of years paying off. He's got the Eagles finishing second, the Commanders third, and the Giants fourth.
Yeah, and this one, like you said offline before we got started today, this division I think is the hardest one, and I really can't see it going in any order.
And not
Like-
hardest as in like the toughest division in football. It just
Right.
so
Toughest
hard
to-
to predict on how this is going to play out because there's so many questions on all these teams.
Yes, and realistically, looking at the coaches, if you're just ranking the coaches, I've got Harbaugh at the top of this list. So to say he's going to finish fourth is kind of like wild. But it just, with these teams, like the Cowboys, like we talked about early on, like their defense was terrible last year, and I think it got a lot better. And I think Caleb Downs is going to make a huge impact on that defense, along with the other guys they brought in. But I don't know. And the Eagles, I like their offense, except they just lost AJ Brown. And two of the rookies, Stowers has had nothing but, I guess, negativity and not positive things coming out. Lemon hasn't really been on the field because he's been hurt. And then with the Commanders, they're old. They fired both their coaches. I don't think that's usually a good thing going into the season. And of course, the Giants is, I don't know. I could also kind of see that there's a way the Giants win this division. Like, oh, it's just crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Ask me tomorrow. It might be different.
Yeah. Well, your top quarterback for the division you got is Jaden Daniels for the Commanders. Top running back, Shaquan Barkley for the Eagles. Top wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb for the Cowboys. Top tight end, Dallas Goedert for the Eagles. Top rookie, Malachi Lemon for the Eagles.
Yep. And that's assuming that he gets back on the field and is healthy. I think if he's on the field, he could be the best offensive rookie. There's also not a lot of offensive rookies to pick in this division.
No, and I was quite surprised because, like, I did everything to not pick Lemon. And then you got Caleb Downs with the Cowboys to win Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yes, that's one that I have in there as a possibility. And I'm curious as to what the odds are. I should have checked it before putting it in there. But I think he's going to have that big of an impact. I mean, you see, I have the Cowboys winning the division because of some of those changes. I don't know about you. We'll get to yours. But with tight end, and I don't want any of these guys.
No, it was ugly there too.
Yeah, I thought about Jake Ferguson maybe just because of volume, but I think Goddard's going to score more touchdowns, which means that Goddard would be better. Man, it's such a weird division.
I don't even know who I ended up with that tight end right now, to tell you the truth.
Let's take a look. Let's see what you got here for your predictions.
All right. So for me, I've got the Eagles finishing first.
Okay.
They're the champs. Got to go through them. Cowboys, yeah, they did better, but I've got them finishing second, just behind the Eagles. Then I've got the Giants finishing third, man. That defense is too goddamn powerful. I couldn't put them in fourth, which just made the Commanders go to fourth. But I'm like, this just looks weird. But that's how it does, because I don't see the Giants finishing last with that defense
or that coach. Like that's another thing, right?
It was just too hard. So I was like, that's how I ended. Like, I'm like, the Giants are going to improve. I don't think the Commanders have a bad year, but like this division might be one of the better divisions in football with how the record's all set up.
Right, and then
they're playing, but
agreed. And then when I look at mine too, and I'm like, well, I think Jaden Daniels is probably the best quarterback in this division right now. Well, then I've also got them third, and it's like, well, that doesn't seem right. But I could also see them just totally collapsing because of the age we talked about, and maybe their additions don't work out like we thought.
yeah.
Right? Like they have the oldest receiving core, don't they? Between McLaurin and Diggs.
Oh yeah, and I've got two Commanders in my list, and I've got them finishing last. So
yeah, so it's just this division's wild, man.
Yeah. So my top quarterback, I've got Dak Prescott. I think Jaden Daniels is the most talented quarterback in the division, but I think Dak Prescott has the best statistical season of the quarterbacks in this division this year.
So let me ask you this real quick, because I think realizing this, I've been doing mine as best fantasy position. So like when you're doing yours, are you looking at best quarterback like for football or for fantasy? Because that might be a difference we've been having
for
too.
fantasy.
Yeah. Okay. So you still think Dak over Jaden?
Well, because I think Dak has a better statistical year.
Yards, touchdowns, interceptions.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why I've got. But I think Jaden Daniels is the more talented quarterback. If I was starting a franchise, I'm picking Jaden Daniels over Dax because he makes better decisions. But Dax has better pass catchers around him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That still have legs and young to run. You know what I mean?
Right, and like we're saying, we expect the defense to be better, but it could also still be as bad as it was last year.
Yeah, and then my top running back, wide receiver, obviously the same. You can't take anything away from Barkley or Lamb. My top tight end, I remember now, Chig Okonkwo.
See, I thought about that. I just thought that's a little bit of projection, and I hope you're right because I do like Okonkwo, and I like his talent.
Like you said, Ben, you look at this division and you're just like, none of these tight ends jump off. Maybe Isaiah Likely, but I still need to see it, so I can't. Chig, I know, did it with Tennessee with shittier quarterbacks than what he's got for the Commanders, so I see no reason why it wouldn't be Chig. Well,
and then when we also talk about Washington, like I just said, old receiving core, well, that they could miss time, and if they miss time, you're going to need somebody to catch passes.
Yeah.
Why not Okonkwo, who you can do that little flare out and then make a play after he's got the ball in his hands?
Let's see what you think of my top rookie.
Is it Williams?
Did everything I could not to put Malachi Lemon in here.
So is it
Katron Allen of the Commanders. I think he's going to take that job, man. I don't think he takes a week 1 or become the preseason, but week 5, week 6, I think Allen starts getting in there. And by week 10, he's the guy.
So is this preseason overreaction from Shawn?
I actually had this list put up before his preseason game.
All right.
And then he had that preseason game, and then I felt confident enough to leave him there.
All right. See, I really thought you might go Antonio Williams in this situation, but it was also after the Diggs signing, so that kind of puts a damper on him being out there guaranteed. All the time.
Exactly. So, but it was between those two. Like I was ending with a Commander because there's no way I was putting Malachi Lemon in there. I didn't see it. Like it's hard for a rookie wide receiver to come in and dominate. It's hard for a rookie tight end, but rookie running backs, they can do it.
Yeah, I agree. And with Philly too, like I don't know about you, but I kind of have concerns about the offense. Like, what's it going to look like? We got another new coach. We've got AJ Brown leaving.
And can Devontae Smith carry a wide receiver room?
Well, and I think he's dealing with an ankle injury right now, isn't he?
He might.
I mean, I don't think it's anything serious. It was just a day or two, but I saw he missed practice. And
all I know is they tried to do it with him his rookie year. Obviously, it was his rookie year. Had a lot to learn. And then they brought in AJ Brown.
Well, because if you can bring in AJ Brown.
But he's kind of small for a number 1 guy, kind of like Zay Jones, right? Like I don't like Zay Jones as a 1 guy, but if you had him as their 2, he's a number 1, 2 in the league.
Yeah, he was one of those guys you could always start in a flex, and sometimes it could work.
Yep.
Like he always just might catch a touchdown that week. Not anymore, obviously, but he was a good flex at some points.
Oh, for sure. But that's how we see the NFC East finishing out for the 2026 season. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. See you next time.
Have a good one.